Hey everyone, Rick here with the Ditch Pig. It's been another 3 weeks since I dropped a video, but today we're going to do a quick one. We're going to get this thing going. We're going to do a cold start. Threw the battery charger on it yesterday. They were pretty dead. We still don't have a clutch. The last time I had this running, what I did was I bled it and it seemed to work, and then all of a sudden it would just start spitting air again. And I couldn't get any pedal. So I kept bleeding it, and the next thing I knew, it was all fluid again, no air. So I was like, perfect. So hopped in it, and still no pedal. I couldn't get the truck out of gear. As it's parked here on the hill, in the driveway, I just gave it a quick bump where it doesn't have a neutral safety switch. When I did, I pulled it into neutral. All of a sudden I had a clutch pedal. I didn't know what the deal was with that. It didn't make any sense to me. So anyway, I said, screw it. I hopped in it and went for a drive. Well, I got a few kilometers down the road, and everything was all good. Went into the grocery store in the next town over. And when I came back on the way home, I started having a rev match to get it to shift gears and stuff. So limited time basis on that. The fluid started leaking out of it and whatnot. And done deal again. So then I parked it and I haven't started it since. So today what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing going. I'm going to bleed it again, attempt the same thing, see if I can get any luck with it. I want to get it moved out of the way because I want to put the summer tires back on the girlfriend's car. Okay, so step number one, make sure there's fluid in this, which there isn't. It's down past the filling tube anyway, to the master. So I'm just going to put a bunch in it, and we'll get it bled out, see if we can't get it to get out of gear, because like right now I just can't even shift it out of neutral unless I was to bump it, like I said. So as you can see, there's a little bit of pedal right at the very bottom. Not much. It's pretty easy to push it. I mean, it was a pretty easy clutch anyways where it was hydraulic. But I just use this, pump it up a few times, jam it into the seat like that to hold it, and I'm a one-man bleeding machine. Alright, so there's the bleeder there. I'll just get a crocker loose and see what happens. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate brake fluid. It's the most disgusting stuff. Okay, so we'll give it to her again. And as you can see, there is zero pedal now. It just completely is nothing right to the floorboard. I'll pump her a few times, crack her loose again. Like I say, the last time I just kept doing it until I got no air, but there was still no pedal. As soon as I bumped that key to put it forward, there was pedal. All right, so here's bleed number 2. That was all fluid, but I think we'll do it one more time. And there's absolutely no pedal, zero. All right, bleed 3. A little bit of air, and we'll hit her again. Number 4. That's all fluid. Not even a bubble. After bleeding it 4 times, I got a tiny little bit of pedal at the very, very bottom. I cannot get that out of gear. So I'm just going to give it a little bump on the key so that I can get it into neutral. Hopefully the pedal comes back, and then I'll do the cold start. Like I say, this thing has been running in like 3 weeks. Let's see what happens. I got a little bit more pedal there, but that thing does not want to come out of gear. There's obviously enough clutch there. It's disengaging enough to start it. Oh, I can feel it moving. It's trying to move on it. Yeah, that whole time it was trying to move it. There is a bit more clutch to it though. I can get down to about 3/4 way down, and then there's some pedal there. That still does not want to come out of gear though. Let's try it with the clutch out. I'll just bump it again. Bitch. Oh, there she goes. You saw when I pushed that clutch in, it rolled back. And then that's all it took. Now I've got about half the clutch pedal back. Like, how does that make sense? Why does it work better after the thing starts up? I don't know, because I'm not a mechanic, so, but it seems weird to me. But now I probably won't be able to get it back into gear. So I can move the transfer case shifter. That's no problem now. I got it in 4 low, neutral. It ground when it went into 2. There's 4 high. So I can get it in between gears now, in and out. There's second. A lot of times first is hard to get into with this transmission anyway, so I'll go to second and then go to first. Alright, so we're good enough to move this thing. I'm going to get it out of the way so I can get her car in. Alright, so anyways, that was just a quick video to let you guys know what's been going on the last little while, which is basically nothing, because I haven't touched this thing in forever. I have ordered the parts for it. I went on to Ram Clutch's website. They have a seal kit for that internal slave cylinder, so instead of buying just the whole slave, I just bought that. It was like 18 bucks, 20 bucks, something like that. So that's on its way. Ordered that from Summit. I also bought a CAN bus splitter, so basically I can plug in the cable that goes to this, goes into the CAN bus connector on the Holly computer. So I'll have a splitter so I can hook this thing to one side and then I can hook the laptop to the other. The reason being is those CAN bus connectors do not look like the most robust things in the world, and I'm kind of worried about plugging the laptop in and then unplugging it and having it break. So I've already ordered the CAN bus to USB, which the USB obviously goes into the computer, and USB to CAN bus will always be plugged into the splitter. So then every time I want to hook the laptop in, I just plug the laptop into the USB, and then when I'm done, coil it up and throw it back in underneath the dash. So probably in future videos, you're going to see me tickling the keys on the laptop. Hopefully I don't blow this thing up, because as it sits right now, the only tuning that this truck has had is what the Holley computer does, and it's fine, it works good, but everything I've seen is that you can get it to be better. I know absolutely nothing about tuning, but we're going to jump in and see if we can figure some stuff out. Obviously, I'll be looking at some stuff on YouTube too to see what the tuners are doing. Just try and figure it out. I think it'll be fun to play with, so that's something that we'll do in the future. Another thing that I ordered was a new caliper for the emergency brake. As you guys know, if you've seen it in the videos before, I've got a driveline brake right on the back of the T-case. A couple times in my infinite genius, I was wheeling and I forgot to take the e-brake off, and yeah, the pads didn't look too good after that happened. So my e-brake still holds to a certain extent, but it's not real great. I'd like to see it be a lot better. It used to be able to park on this hill. It's pretty steep, obviously. It would park on that, no problem. Hold the truck in neutral. I could trust it off-roading. Where this thing is a standard, I want a working e-brake. I paid a lot of money to have that e-brake. It's worked great for years, and then now that the pads are toast, I'm going to have to replace those. That e-brake came from High Angle Driveline, and when I contacted him, he said, yep, you've got to buy a whole caliper. It comes with the pads, and it was like a couple $100 US or something like that. Northwest Fab sells a kit that looks better to me. The caliper is an actual Willwood caliper. It looks really good. I don't know if you can buy pads for it or not, but it's a couple $100 US, but it's a lot nicer caliper. I'm going to buy that and see if I can't fab that up to get it to fit onto this. So that's coming in the mail from Summit. This video was taped on Sunday, April 30th. They told me April 29th is when the stuff was going to show up, and it did not. It said it was out for delivery. It would be here by the end of the day, and it never showed up yesterday. So, which doesn't really matter, but I don't have the thing tore apart, obviously. But my next set of days off that I have, that's probably what's going to happen. This will get parked by the garage, and I'm going to be taking the transmission out again. Woohoo! That's what you can expect for the next video. I'm not going to go full in-depth with it. I'll just basically show what's happening. When the seals show up, I'll show how to change those. It's not hard. It's pretty easy. I watched a video on the Summit website, and it shows that. It's a lot of work to change those, though, when it comes to moving the transmission in the transfer case. I think what I'm going to do this time, and I've done this in the past, I'll just throw some ratchet straps underneath everything, yank the thing backwards, don't even drop it, just get enough room that I can get up in there and pull that internal slave out, and then change everything that's got to be changed, slap it back in, clean up all the fluid and stuff that's inside the bell housing, and we'll be good to go from there. So yeah, either way, it's a necessary evil. It's got to be done. I'll get it taken care of so I can start ripping this thing again. I'm like really missing this thing. I'm going through withdrawal big time. Spring's full on right now. We're balls deep into it. I'd like to get this thing out in the woods and have some fun with it. And this is what we got to do to make that happen. So that's what's going to happen. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. And we'll see you when I get the transmission and transfer case slid back in this thing. See you next time.